Welcome back to Know Your Crypto, where we bring you news, education, and updates on the evolving digital financial space. We are not financial advisors. We simply spread education and awareness around here. Do your own homework, do your own research. You are responsible for your own investment decisions and shenanigans. Let's get into it. We're going to do some brief chart analysis here. A lot of people are speculating, a lot of question, is it going up or down? You can clearly see within this resistance pennant here, we're staying in the resistance pennant, but the momentum for the highs and lows looks down. We keep achieving lower highs and lower lows, especially with this lowest low right here that brought us briefly below 50,000. For those that don't know, that was the yen carry trade issue that erupted early last month. So if you don't know what the yen carry trade is, please go look it up, do your own research, get educated. But I'll give you a super brief overcap of what it is. So essentially, yen carry trade, Japan was offering, in order to try to help stimulate their economic money flow, help the economy, they offered loans in yen at 0% interest for a long time. So just an example, other places in the world do this, but the main player was Wall Street. So Wall Street, people were going and getting all these loans with sizable amounts of money in Japanese yen, 0% interest, and then they would just take that money and free borrowed money, because again, 0% interest, and they would put it into something that earns a dividend or a yield, 5%, 6%, whatever the amount was. So you would earn that yield, go pay off your Japanese loan, make your premium payment every month, and then you would just keep the dividend or yield. So it was a hack to borrow free money to earn free dividend and yield. So that was going on for a long time, and it erupted. That's what this candle is, as you can see, and that's not a small deal. It didn't collapse the world economy or anything, but it is very tied to the US dollar, and this is not a small issue. And as you can see, it was short-lived on Bitcoin. It showed resilience and bounced back to the 59,000, 60,000 area. We saw more bearish sentiment, a lot more smack talk about Bitcoin. And we stayed within the pennant. We bounced back up, and this is kind of a bullish sign right here. Again, not financial advice. This is just my own take on it. I think this is a bullish indicator that we stayed up. This shows me that we're probably going to trade sideways like this. Maybe even still create one more lower high. Maybe. Come back down, retest, and then we'll do this dance sideways, maybe a little up, but pretty much sideways, out of the election and into 2025, and then it's off to the races. So that said, could we see some bearish sentiment before that happens? Absolutely. That is nothing like that is ever off the table. So let's talk about that very quickly. So in my opinion, I'm going to explain why I think there could be some sort of sharp red candle that brings us down into the red, below the 236 on the Fibonacci, but then I think we would come back out and do the sideways dance again within the resistance pennant. I do not think all these people that are calling for, the bull run's over, 40,000 Bitcoin, 20,000 Bitcoin, we're going to go down and blah, 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 and it's going to take years or it's done. I do not think that is the case for a few reasons, and let's explain. One, look what brought us back up to 74,000 in the first place. BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Fidelity, people can put their retirements in this thing. Big money is completely behind this now. They're the biggest asset managers in the world, and they're just buying up as much as they can, absolutely as much as they can. And then you got other governments trying to go after it in a good way, like trying to attain it. Some countries are looking to put it in their strategic reserves. You got El Salvador. El Salvador, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, mark it down in the comments. But I believe El Salvador is the only country so far that actually made it an actual legal currency within their country. So they have their currency, and then Bitcoin is like an actual co-currency in their country. So all around the world, it's being adopted, okay? Then you have interest rates. Interest rates are still high, which the economy kind of tightened, as people have definitely felt over the last year. that has somewhat contributed. Economic tightening, quantitative tightening, has definitely contributed somewhat to this, small factor in it. And Bitcoin is still up in above 55,000, trying to push 60,000. So if we zoom out, we are still in the previous bull run all-time high territory. We're not in the macro scale. We're not down. We're up. We're still up. So the people that are naysaying Bitcoin and the whole crypto industry saying it's going to zero, it ain't going to zero. Yeah, BlackRock's not letting their money go to zero, fellas. So the yen carry trade happened. It was short-lived. All the money is behind this. Interest rates are still high. What happens when interest rates drop? Just a sizable interest rate drop would start creating bullish momentum in crypto and the markets. Why? Well, when you have economic tightening, quantitative tightening, riskier assets, they say risk on assets, but riskier assets, they're not as attractive, right? Because the market is more uncertain. So it'll show less strength. And then when quantitative easing happens, or economic easing, right? Interest rates lower, XYZ, that creates positive movement for things that are considered riskier assets. So just some interest rate drops would show some positive movement. There's just so many factors and evidence that serves to why Bitcoin is highly likely to not go down. And then we look down here at the MACD, as you can see, well, right here, we're in the red. So we're below the average. If you look back, could we go lower based on, some economic event or whatever? Absolutely. There's no saying the downward momentum is officially over. But we would come down. I think it would be short-lived, and we would pop right back out and go into positive territory. It wants to come back into positive territory. But the point is, we're down in the red, and we are still hovering even kind of close to the 60,000 range. So to consider that down, I think is a little nonsensical. Again, that's me. And then one more thing, we're going to wrap up here. Seasoned traders, if you're new to trading or even newish, these types of drops happen left and right when you're trading all the time. Look at the previous bull market. Came up here to retest the all-time high. Then you had this scare drop. There was probably a bunch of talk back here. It achieved a higher low. So this was probably a good indicator that, it was off to the races. But then look at this. You could have said this was the end of the bull run. You had clearly gotten 20,000 to 40,000. You did your 2x. So this could have seemed like the bull run. You had a huge pullback from over 42,000 to under 30,000. That's a huge move. That's almost a third, almost 30%. So expect it. It's healthy. The market wants retracements. There's bear movement, like you're going into a bear market, but then there's retracements, and they're completely different. So yeah, in a nutshell, I think Bitcoin and the entire crypto market, legit projects, not the scams, are going to continue to go sideways and then up through the election. Especially, look at the politics. First you got Donald Trump on the bandwagon. He's the crypto president, whether he is or not. There's positive narrative, right? There's positive sentiment in the air. And then because of that, Kamala's kind of doing the copycat Trump on some things. Now she's singing crypto. Oh, we're going to do crypto. We're going to get legislation, blah, blah, blah. Kind of putting the pressure on Gary Gensler, chasing votes after the narrative. So interest rates have not come down yet. Quantitative easing has not happened yet. All the big money is behind it, and they are not selling. It's very, very clear. I just saw a statistic the other day. It's like and when it comes to the institutions and the big money buying, over 80% of the Bitcoin that is bought or mined gets put into storage. That means they're holding it. So big money's not letting go. The interest rates are high. yen carry trade happened that's very tied to the US dollar. Excuse me. That was very short lived. So I think the bullish sentiment is clearly still here. Anything could happen. Like right here, what would create this hard candle that I was briefly discussing? I do find it just a little bit ironic. I'm not calling anything, so don't. If it does happen, I didn't do it. I think there could definitely be some sizable red candle here, like we talked a few minutes ago. But something huge has to create that. 9/11 cyber attack, full-on war with America, like something massive. Yen carry trade round 2, but way worse going out, something huge. So that's the analysis. If you feel different, please comment below. Let's chat about it. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss updates as we keep updating you and more news rolls out. We'll see you in the next one.